Today's episode of the Other Side podcast is one that matters a lot to me because for the first time, I have someone I truly admire come on the show as a guest. When he reached out to me, I did a double take because I wasn't sure it was even real. Because this is someone whose life story is so inspiring and the whole world needs to hear this story. He's an author, a veteran, an accident survivor, and above all, an amazing human being. I like to describe him as the true definition of a hero. Tonight on the show, I've got Kijuan M Amey, a United States Air Force veteran and a survivor of an accident that could have taken anyone's life. But he's still here and he's doing so much. He's impacting lives and making people understand that there's more to life than success in whatever career they have chosen. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I have an incredible conversation with Kijuan M Amey. You don't want to miss this. All right. So I've been so inspired by your story. I've gone through all your socials, as you can imagine. I have Googled you, I have read stories and how you got to this point, and I must tell you, yours is such an inspiring one. And I feel so honored to be doing this with you today. Can
Thank
you
you
hear
so
me?
much.
Great. So I'm going to just kick off by saying maybe the most obvious thing. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Just looking at your life, I just want to say you have been on a roller coaster of a journey. Could you just describe how it has been for you from when you joined the Air Force, the United States Air Force, which is a noble one, and how you found yourself here today, where you are, and what you're doing with your life? How did that evolution come about?
Yes, well, I was the first in my family to join the Air Force. My youngest brother, he's now in the Air Force now, but most of my family is Navy, or were in the Navy. And so I was actually going to join the Navy, but the recruiter, he basically talked me out of it because I was trying to learn how to get my schooling, college or university paid for. And he wasn't giving me the information that I was looking for. I mean, I understood the program that you used to pay for school, but I didn't know how it worked. And so I was trying to get him to explain that to me. He didn't do a great job. He just kept trying to hand me a piece of paper, which was the same exact thing I read on the internet.
Mhm.
Well, when he kept doing that, I decided to leave his office and go across the hall to the Air Force. I don't believe that's a good method of utilizing time. So I like to go ahead and get things done now or as soon as possible. And so that's what I did. I didn't even leave the building. I went straight into the Air Force recruiter's office and I went and talked to them right then. Um,
That's interesting.
I'm just I don't like to waste time. So they were like, "Well, what can we do for you?" I said, "Well, I think I want to join the Air Force." Uh, and so I went into his office and we were discussing different things. And, he had me take this practice test and I scored pretty good on the practice. And he was like, I just need you to study for 2 weeks, man, because I know you'll be able to kill it and knock it out of the park. Because, I had really good grades in school, in grade school.
Mm.
So he understood that it wouldn't take much for me.
Well, that's
And I was
amazing.
fresh out of high school. I had just graduated from high school. So he was like, "Oh, this is great because most people wait and they haven't been in school for years and stuff like that. You're just out of high school, like not even a month."
Oh,
And
wow.
so yeah, and so I took the test, scored really high on it, by the way. And he was so excited. He called me. He said, "When can you come in?"
Oh,
And
wow.
I said, tomorrow? He's like, that works for me. I'll be here. And so
That's
I
awesome.
come, yeah, I come to his office and he's like so excited. I get there and he's looking at stuff and I knock on the door. Hey, how you doing? He's, oh, come on, come sit down, sit down. And so he has like, I don't know, I think it's like 8 pages front and back of lists of jobs, like literally lists down the page of jobs, front and back.
Hmm.
Some of them he's highlighted, and a lot of them he has not. And I say that, and when I say that, I mean it. Some he's highlighted, and a lot he has not, because he knew they weren't ones that I would have wanted to do. And so, anywho, I end up picking because I was joining the Air Force. I was like, I want to fly. I don't want to be on the ground somewhere. What's the
Yeah.
point in that? What's the
Mm-hmm.
point in joining the
What's
Air
the
Force and laying on
point?
the ground?
You're in the Air Force and you're
If you
wow.
can do it, if you can do it, because there are some people who have vision problems that
Oh
are
yeah,
just not
sure.
good enough. You know what I mean? But I did. I scored high on all the tests, not just the book test. I scored high on the physical test. I scored high on the vision test, everything. So I'm like, I want the best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What
Nothing
is
but
the
the
best you
best.
have to offer me right now? And so the job that he picked out for me was in-flight refueling, or pointed out to me, shall I say, was in-flight refueling specialist. And that's where you refuel airplanes in midair.
Oh wow. That,
And that
that
was
must
my
have been
job.
super interesting. Oh wow.
It was the most nerve-wracking, high speed,
Can imagine.
most precise, accurate. Like you had to, it was just so you had to be so knowledgeable
Mm-hmm.
about not just your plane, but the other plane that you're refueling. It's so much you had to learn.
Wow.
On
Wow.
top of learning the military in general. Not just the job, you gotta learn the
Mm-hmm.
military too.
Interestingly,
So
I am also a veteran of the Navy, so I kind of understand where you're coming
oh,
from.
okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you have to learn
Yeah, well,
the
my sister in
rudiments
arms.
of being in the military coupled with your specialty. It could get really nerve-wracking.
Yes. And so not only that, but I also, would go on to become an instructor for my job too. So I taught it.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
now I have to know even more about it. Not just the plane that I'm on, but how this sucker functions.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally the entire schematics, from the pneumatic system to the hydraulic system to the electrical system. I had to learn all of it, the fuel system, all of it.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I don't know if my brain can hold up. But luckily it did, because I
Yeah.
dedicated myself to it and I was so committed to it. People were, my family and friends was like, "Man, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm in Oklahoma right now, so I can't do nothing for you."
Oh, wow.
I can't do nothing for you. I'm nowhere near you.
And how old were you at this
You know,
time? How old were you when you joined the Navy, the Air Force? Sorry.
when I joined the Air Force, I was 19.
Ooh,
I
wow.
was 19
That's
years old.
young.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I went and talked to the recruiter at 18, but until I got actually went in February 22nd, 2011, I had already passed one of my birthdays, and I turned 19.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
For a very young
Hmm.
man to just take that bold step. And then that particular department you were in, an average young man
Hmm.
would probably think twice before launching into something like that. But I'm sure you're probably someone who likes the adrenaline rush. Yeah? You liked the whole like
Well, I mean, I grew up doing some pretty interesting stuff in my life. I actually didn't even like riding roller coasters, which is crazy. So this one was, I'm not even lying. Listen, my family used to pick on me all the time because I didn't. But now, if you put me on a roller coaster, I'm laughing
Are you kidding me?
because because I am truly an adrenaline junkie because of the Air Force, and the roller coaster rides you got on that airplane. They're way way more
Way more.
exciting
I
than
know,
the
right?
real roller coaster.
I
When you're
know.
out there, over the ocean practicing different types of maneuvers, and you're turning and you're yanking and you're diving your nose over, like all that stuff is so cool until you're like, I'm actually looking directly into the water. I don't like this, you know? And you're on a plane. It's not like my eyes are looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the nose is pointed down at the water. And I'm like, I don't like this.
I wouldn't have liked that myself. But well
Yeah,
done,
yeah.
well done. That's such a cool
I,
story, and I'm so glad you got
yeah.
to experience that. And I'm pretty
There
sure
were
that
a
all
lot of
this is
cool ones.
contained in your book, yeah?
Well, the book is more so focused on the accident.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's what that's more so focused on. So I do talk about what I was doing at the time.
All right.
What my life consisted of. So I was in the Air Force Reserves because I did active duty for 4 years. And then I switched over to the reserves because I did love it. I did like what I was doing, but I wanted to do a little bit more in my life, not just the military. And so then I went to school full time. Remember, I was telling you about how I wanted to go to school. So I was going to school full time. And then I started my own business. So right now I do a business called Amy Motivation.
Okay.
But the first business I started was Kiwi Enterprise. And that's
Yeah,
where I
I
did
saw that.
social media marketing. Yeah, I did social media marketing, website design and management, and photography.
Oh, nice. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So I've done some of some of everything.
Mhm.
And
Or do you still have that business
you can
running?
see behind me.
Yeah, I
Well, I
noticed. I
mean,
noticed the drum set. I
yeah,
noticed the
I'm a
keyboard.
musician.
Oh,
I'm a musician.
awesome. I hope I
So
get to hear you
I still
sing
play.
before we leave this meeting tonight.
I still play at today.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I've been playing drums since I was 7 years old,
Ooh.
and I'm 33 now.
I guess you're a creative at heart and in every way.
Very much so musically inclined.
That's
And
cool.
I do sing. I sing in a group. It's a gospel quartet group.
Great, great, great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now that
So
takes
I
me
do
to
sing
my
it.
next
We
question, really. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry to interject, but I just want us to now dive into the real juice of this conversation, which is the accident, how it happened, and where you're at now. How did you go
Yeah,
through
yeah.
that and still you are still this lively, bubbly, positive person? Just give me an idea
Well,
of how that happened.
the lively and bubbly side that you see is part of it. There is always the flip side. So I do have my moments, but that is also called being human.
Of course.
And so, I am human as well. I love the fact that I'm human because I don't want to be a robot or an alien. So what I do realize is when I had that accident, which was May 5th, 2017, almost 8 years ago. Um, and so it taught me a lot, but it's still teaching. So
Hmm,
I'm still learning to till today, and I don't just mean learning how to live my life, but I'm learning from life
hmm. That's
and
profound.
yeah, I'm learning from the things that are around me. I have a saying. It's called will to overcome, and will stands for win in life's lessons. And so, in order to overcome adversity, you have to win in life's lessons.
Hmm, hmm,
And
hmm.
so, all of the lessons that life has taught me,
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to win.
Hmm.
And that's what everybody has to do. No matter what the adversity or hardship might be, we all have to find the winning lesson here that
Sure.
life is trying to teach us.
That's some deep stuff,
You
really.
know,
And that's one thing everybody should. I think that's a mantra everybody that hopes to succeed in life should hold on to. Win at everything, basically. In life's lessons, whatever life throws at you, just win. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, for sure. Because I'll tell you about the accident, and then I'll give you a little bit of insight to it. So, like I said, this was May 5th, 2017. and I was on my motorcycle, and I was on the motorcycle doing actually that day I had went to just it was a really nice day here in North Carolina. That's where I'm located in the U.S. of A. We in North Carolina we get really nice spring weather,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's so nice. The flowers are blooming, trees are really green, grass is green, everything. Some people who have allergies, they get, they don't like it because it's a lot of pollen.
Yeah.
But I don't have allergies, so I love it. It's just it's really nice weather for me. So that's when our, temperatures hit like the 70s and 80s, and it's really nice weather. And so I pulled out my bike that day because, again, like I say, the weather was really nice, and I was going to do some photography for a website that I needed to update over the
Mm.
weekend for my Kiwi Enterprise business. And so I would also have to work for the Air Force that weekend too, but that wasn't until later on that night. Um, Anywho, I shoot over on the bike to the location that I was taking the pictures of, and that was only like maybe 10 minutes from my apartment to
Mm.
that location. And on a motorcycle, that's not far. That's not far.
Of course not.
10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes is about this long. You just sat
Mm-hmm.
down.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like I just sat down on the bike and then I got off. And so uh after I did the pictures and everything, it was one of those moments where I said, do I want to go put this bike right back in the garage? And then I looked at the bike, and the bike looked at me, and it said, if you put me back up,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna have a problem. And so I said, okay, we'll keep riding. And I went to a lake here in North Carolina called Jordan Lake. Now, from the church, which is where I was, my church,
Yeah.
that I took the pictures for, to update the website, to the lake is about a 30-minute ride. So
Mm.
this is okay. That'll be nice. That'll be really nice. And so I take that ride, no problem. I get there. I'm doing what I normally do out there on the little dock that I go sit at. I meditate, zone out, relax, be at one with myself and the elements. And I'm just kind of zoned out for a while, and then I hear a car go by. And when I hear this car go by, it just kind of, brings me back. And then I look at my watch because I used to wear a wristwatch all the time. In the military, we got to
Uh-huh.
keep track of time.
You have to keep track of time.
Yes, yes. So I looked at my watch. I said, "Oh, I gotta go." And so I jumped back on the bike and I'm gonna take off down this road. Well, this road would happen to be a highway kind of off in like the country. So it's a bunch of trees, backwoods type stuff. And it's
Mhm.
only two lanes, the lane that I'm in and the lane that's coming past me.
Mhm.
And so the speed limit back here is 55 miles an hour. Now, I'm not sure what that you do you guys go off of kilometers?
Yes, we do.
So 80 kilometers.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a long one.
Yes. Yeah. Uh so and so anyway, we I'm riding down this road, and now on this back road, there are trees all alongside it. And I mean really tall, really tall. Uh and there's no like side area to pull off to. There's the road, and then there's dirt. That's
Mm.
it. You're going right into either the dirt, somebody's driveway, or you need to turn off into an
So
intersection
whatever happens,
or
you just
something.
have to keep going, yeah? That's what it
Yeah,
means.
well, basically. And so back here on this road, you have intersections, you have driveways, you have gas stations, so petrol stations, and a produce farm is what I remember passing. Um, and so in all of these areas, the trees are cut back so that you can see what's coming. Because if somebody is coming down the road at 55 miles an hour or 80 kilometers per hour, uh, that it could be really fatal,
Mm-hmm.
almost like me.
Mm.
And so this. this intersection that a guy pulls out in front of me. It was a silver Honda Accord. He pulled out in front of me, and I would impact him, so hit him. Um, well, that said intersection, there were two cars there as well behind him, and they put on the police report that they saw me coming, so they don't know why he didn't.
Why he didn't?
Now I'm really upset because that means you were distracted.
Obviously.
And so here I am, basically laying there lifeless. I mean, pretty much, because the only thing keeping me alive is probably my brain.
Mm,
I mean, I wasn't moving. I was not moving. I was completely unconscious, have no recollection of the accident whatsoever.
mm.
Um, and so, like I said, that was May 5th. June the 6th is when I would wake up
Wow.
from my medically induced coma because they literally had to do surgery on me from head all the way down to my right foot.
Word.
The only thing I did not have surgery on were my arms.
Hmm.
That's it. The arms are the only things that are still, hmm, how do you say, are what I was born with.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You,
I
you know,
know.
it's so crazy. So, uh, you call me Iron Man, Titanium Man. I got
I'm
metal
tempted
in
to
me
call you
everywhere.
Superman, sincerely, because
You're not the first. My my
sincerely,
my
because this is
my best friend, he called me that. He called me Superman.
some profound experience for you. And I'm sure that that pretty
Yeah.
much changed your life for good. What was going through your
It
mind
changed my
when
life
you
forever.
came to in June, June the 6th, when you
Yeah.
came
June
out of the
6th.
coma? What was the
Hmm.
first thought that came to your mind? What did you think? Can you
I
remember?
laugh because I laugh because the first thought that came to my mind is who's in my room? Because I thought I was in my bedroom. I
Hmm.
had no clue I was in the hospital.
Hmm.
You didn't hear all these beeping monitors. Nothing was really hooked on me. No, nothing was hooked on me. I just had a pick line. And what that means is they can, whenever they need to take you to operations or whatever the case may be, they just hook it on.
Yeah.
That's it. They just hook it on. It's not always on you. They just hook it on when they need it.
Yeah.
And so I'm just sitting there, laying in the bed, and I haven't even thought about like thought to open my eyes yet. That wasn't a thought process yet because I'm trying to figure out who's in my bedroom
Hmm.
and why. As military members, we assess the situation first
Exactly.
before we before we just get up and start running around. You know, because I'm trying to think, do I need to reach for my pistol,
Hmm.
or is this somebody I know? That was my first thought because I knew if I needed to turn this way, that's where my pistol is. But if I'm okay, I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay, I can just get up. So I'm listening. Wait a minute, that's my girlfriend.
Hmm.
Okay, I can understand why she might be here. But what the heck is my mom doing here?
Oh.
Because think about that. When you wake up first thing in the morning, whether you have a significant other or not,
You
you're
don't
not
expect your mom to be in the room.
you are not dressed. You're not
Exactly.
dressed and ready to be seen first thing in the morning, okay? And that's what I'm thinking. This is first thing in the morning, bright and early, all that good stuff. And so I'm like, what is going on? And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna lay here and figure out what they talking about. Because they were talking. Figure out what they talking about. Hmm, a motorcycle accident.
Hmm.
What? Who was in that? Interesting. But why won't they say who it was?
Hmm.
And so now I'm getting frustrated because they're not saying who it was. They're just generalizing the topic. And so eventually I go to open my eyes, only not to be able to see anything.
Wow.
And so I'm like, wait a minute, wait. Wiki, 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 wiki. Uh, yeah, I can't see anything. Um, hit the panic button.
Mm,
Oh, we need all hands on deck. And so I go to now try to speak. And yes, I said try.
mm.
Because in that accident, I would crush my face in to the point where it would break my jaw.
Oh,
And now it's wired shut. So I can't even talk. So
wow.
this is what you heard when I tried to speak. This is what you heard. I couldn't say a word. You just heard sounds.
Hmm.
Now, luckily, they could hear the sound because they're right there at the foot of my bed talking. And so they came over there. They're like, what, wait, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I'm trying to tell them what's wrong. Of course, I can't talk.
Yeah,
And so my mom was like, hold on. And I'm like, trying to be calm and
yeah.
patient when I'm dealing with all this. And she's like, here. And I'm like, what? She's like, hold your hands out. And so I put my hands out like this. And she puts a notepad and a pencil in my hand. And I'm like, really? Like, what
Mm.
am I supposed to do with this? I can't see. And that's all I kept
Yeah.
doing was pointing at my face. I'm pointing at my face, like, I'm sure I can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's got to be something going on here. Whatever y'all did, y'all need to figure this out. I don't know. And so she's like, just write down what you are trying to say. I'm like, how? She's like, just try. Try not to write over top of what you wrote. And so I do it. Blah, 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 blah. Huh. And it read, what is this motorcycle accident dream y'all keep talking about?
Hmm.
And she was like, oh, that's not a dream. That's what happened to you.
Oh,
And yeah, Woe is right, because I didn't talk anymore for the rest of that day.
can you imagine?
There was no more communication for the rest of that day. For me, at least. Somebody might have said something to me, but I wouldn't know. Because now I'm stuck in my brain trying to figure out what happened.
Mhm.
Why don't I remember? Um, why can't I figure out when, where, how,
How?
who? I can't figure out none of this. Nothing is popping up in my head of me having an accident. And I was so frustrated with that because I'm really good out, well, especially before the accident, I was very good at remembering stuff.
Hmm.
Like I prided myself on that. I could recall anything.
Of course, you had to be. The nature of your job alone just showed that you had to be
Oh,
really smart.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yes. But it was just like one of those. I was like, why can't I remember anything?
Oh, wow.
And so, sure enough, I think it was the next day, like June 7th or whatever. But I started asking questions again. And now they're coming at 1,000 miles per hour
Mm. Of
because I need to know answers. I want answers.
course.
And so, this is when she would tell me what I've basically already expressed to you guys, like what happened, when it happened, where it happened, all that stuff that I've expressed already, the police report, the guy who
Mm.
did it, all of this stuff. She would start throwing all this stuff out at me. And it was, I guess you could say, a relief that it wasn't my fault. But at
Mm.
the same sense, it's like somebody did this to me.
Mm.
Now I'm upset because somebody changed my life
You would be.
forever.
It
And I
should be.
had,
Anybody would.
it's almost like I had no way of controlling that. You know what I mean? And so
All right.
it was frustrating for sure. Um, but I did get through it. Put it this way, I am going through this thing, and I
And you're doing
continue to
a
press.
great job at that, sincerely.
I can, yes, I continue to, press and fight because I know that this thing is bigger than me.
Hmm.
That's what I do know. I just don't know how big.
You are still in the process. You're still going through it. So I was like, oh wow.
Yes, how I'm still going through. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, no, like daily. And that's the thing, especially when you get hit with something super traumatic, or it could even be the loss of a loved one. You're still going through that. It it doesn't stop because the day is over.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is May 5th, 2017 is the day of the accident, but May 6th, that doesn't mean my life is now better
Hmm.
because it's another day.
Hmm.
I'm still having to live with the aftershock of this because this is a true blow that sent aftershocks and waves through my life. And not
Mm-hmm.
just my life, but the ones that were around me. When you drop, and I think of it this way, when you drop a pebble into a water, you see the ripples that go away from it.
Yeah.
So put me as the drop of the pebble. I went right into the water, but those ripples are going to touch somebody around me.
Hmm. Your family, your friends, your fiancé. I can imagine how did she cope with this. Are you married now?
I'm not married, but I do have a girlfriend. Yes.
Is it the same person you were with at the time?
No.
Hmm.
Funny enough, and I say funny because I have to laugh to keep from crying. That young lady ghosted me. And if you don't know what that means
Yes, I
she cut off
do.
all communications,
Wow.
changed her phone number, and is a whole wife now. She's actually married now. Yep,
How did that
yep,
make you
yep.
feel at the time?
At the time, I felt some kind of way. I felt really, really, uh, I felt hurt. I felt used
Hmm.
because I felt like I was only in your life for what you could get out of me,
For when the
and what
going
I
was good
had.
and when you needed her?
Well, you can say when the going was good, but I'll be honest, I have it better now. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
really? That's
I'm
interesting.
actually doing better now than I was when I was living my life
Hmm. I'm
prior
interested.
to.
I'd like to know more about that because a lot of us, we have the tendency to feel like after such a major accident, our lives are over. In fact, people do not even go through a fraction of what you've gone through. And most of us tend to give up. More like, even when we try to pretend like, okay, we're still trudging, and most of us just feel like, okay, my life would have been better if this hadn't happened. So I'm curious to know at the point it happened, what kept you going? What made you feel like, okay, there's hope, things could get better until you have gotten to a point now that you can boldly say that things are actually better? What were the factors that kept you strong mentally, emotionally, physically? Because I can imagine what you must have been going through emotionally and mentally with the loss of your